We're going to continue to discuss position by position this spring. We got the Cheetah and safety group next. And Jay, this might be the best position group on the team.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks again for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. So I said it, the Oklahoma safety room, it's the best position group on the team.
Yeah, I think I can agree with you there. And that's no shade to any other positions on the team, but that room is nice.
I mean, from Robert Spears-Jennings to Michael Boganowski to Reggie Powers III to Jayden Hardy, that's a group of guys that, one, I think they play with an edge.
Yeah.
Two, they're tough. Three, they're physical. Four, they're athletic. All four of those guys. And so whatever rotation you have at safety, you're going to feel really good about.
100%.
Even when you drop Reggie Powers down into the Cheetah role where he's getting a lot of work right now in the spring, you're still really good at safety.
I think he's the one player that's going to end up shining out the most next year. It's going to be Reggie Powers playing a lot of that Cheetah because he has the ability to not only play very well in coverage, but he likes to hit people. So because he has that violent streak and he's going to level some dudes, I mean, he's not Michael Boganowski where he's going to get some personal fouls. Actually, that's not true. I think Reggie will end up with a personal foul or two because he does like to try to take people's necks off. But he doesn't do it as often as Michael Boganowski. That's kind of like the big difference, but he does like to hit. I mean, heck, coming out of high school, he had a whole highlight reel of just hits. That was it. It was like all big hits, and it was like 9 minutes. I'm like, this is not real, but this is great. I'm so glad that we got him from Michigan State. I'm so glad he decommitted, and we were able to win him over. But even talking about that, you still got the 5-star, Peyton Bowen that we're just waiting to break out. I know that they mentioned he was dealing with turf toe basically the last year and a half, which is very painful injuries, by the way. Playing, you lose a little bit of cutting ability with the turf toe, but that's something that he's been fighting. And if he gets himself on, if he gets healthy enough this year and he's not dealing with that, him and Robert Spears-Jennings is going to be a nasty combo. One other thing though, John, Robert Spears-Jennings was talking about this in one of the interviews after practice this week. He talked about how glad he was that Billy Bowman came back for one more year. And he basically was saying, and I'm paraphrasing, that Billy coming back gave me the opportunity to really grow and learn more about being a leader more than anything on the field. And he said that, Billy would give him tips and they would talk and, work through things and talk through things. And he feels like now he's ready to really step up. And that's his plan, is stepping up and being a big time leader to all of these young players around him, because after this year, there's a good chance he's going to get drafted within the first 3 rounds. He's already, he was solidified himself as one of the top safeties in the country. And if he goes out there and shows out like he did last year, this year with his blitzing ability and his coverage, he's going to end up, going up. And then that's when you're going to have all the young boys. You're going to have Boganowski, you're going to have Jayden Hardy, and then you're going to also have Reggie Powers III taking over that room. The safety room, like you said, ridiculous. But then you add Cheetah, when you can mix in like a Kendal Daniels, Kendall Dolby, when he gets healthy, as we talked about DBs, but you get him back healthy, him being able to move from not only nickel to corner and Cheetah. Oh man, we got a lot of interesting mixes that I'm ready to see how it's configured.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of buzz about Taylor Heim.
Oh
well.
Yeah,
we talked about the Bethany prospect, Evanston Malaska, earlier this week, and I know you want to kind of maybe not think so highly of Bethany, but Taylor Heim right now getting a lot of run at Cheetah, kind of playing that big Cheetah role, similar to a Deshaun McCullough, and a guy like Teddy Lehman, who probably doesn't impress very easily when it comes to linebacker play, was pretty impressed with Taylor Heim and the way he was working out there on the field at Cheetah. So it's really interesting because they've got 3 guys, I think, that we're projecting as Cheetahs in Kendal Daniels, Reggie Powers III, and Kendall Dolby. and even Taylor Heim. So 4 guys that you're projecting to play some Cheetah role that are all very different. And so you can, and I feel like this is where there's a strength in numbers here, because depending on which teams you play, you can deploy a different guy against that lineup. So like you're playing a team that's a little bit more pass happy, you're probably going to lean more towards Kendall Dolby, Reggie Powers III at Cheetah. You're playing a team that's a little more run heavy, like a Michigan, you're probably going to lean more into a Taylor Heim and Kendal Daniels. And so you can kind of mix and match and be a little bit more matchup versatile when you have this group of guys. And I think that just allows you to be a better defense when you can deploy a guy like a Taylor Heim in short yardage situations at Cheetah, similar to what you did with Dasan McCullough. And everybody remembers the impact that he made in the Red River Showdown in that goal line stand. I mean, he was taking on 330-pound defensive tackles in the hole and standing them up and letting other guys around him make plays. So that's really, really intriguing about the Cheetah position. And I think you could really live with any of those guys, especially if Taylor Heim continues that progression and continues to kind of bang the drum and make noise throughout fall camp. I could seriously see him being a significant part of the rotation.
I agree with you there. And Taylor Heim is an interesting case. I mean, he's a giant. I mean, he's listed as 6'6", but he's like 225 pounds. Like he needs to eat a few more Uncrustables at lunchtime every single day. Go ahead and, pig out on the Uncrustables, my boy. Gets a PB&J in your system. But if he could get that additional weight on, yeah, he's gonna be someone of a major threat, because it's funny because you got Taylor Wine and Taylor Heim. Both of them have really built up a nice little reputation of hardworking and being like some surprises out there on the team. And so like when we talk about the edges, we'll definitely talk about, Taylor Wine a little bit, but Heim he would be an intriguing Cheetah just because of his ability, because of his height. And if he can get his hips going where he can get those turns quickly and be able to do really good in coverage, because he's going to be hard to throw over. He's 6'6". Mm-hmm. That's a really hard dude to throw the ball over, and especially if you're trying to throw it across the middle. But he gets his cuts down, man, he's going to be a problem and be a great rotational piece.
Yeah, it's just more signs that, hey, not only is Oklahoma doing a really good job at developing and recruiting 4 or 5-star talent, they're doing a really good job at finding these kind of gems, these diamonds in the rough, so to speak, in a guy like Taylor Heim, Kendall Dolby coming out of the JUCO ranks, Eli Bowen, who was a 3-star that everybody thought was just a family offer, right? Everybody just thought Eli Bowen's just getting an offer because of Peyton Bowen. No, the kid can play, as we saw in 2024. Being in on a guy like Jayden Jackson when he was still just a 3-star player, right? Everybody's going after all these 5 stars and really heavily, pursuing them and making them the priorities. Oklahoma, in addition to David Stone, was also making a guy like Jayden Jackson feel like a priority and being able to recruit and land him. R. Mason Thomas, before he was a 3-star that was committed to Iowa State, and Oklahoma flipped him. And look what we're getting. So Oklahoma's doing a really good job at talent evaluation. That's going to get better with Jim Nagy involved and his, GM staff involved as well.
Yep.
And they're doing a really good job at finding these guys that nobody else is seeing and finding a potential spot for them on that roster. So exciting stuff for the defense. Cannot wait to see how this defense looks in 2025. It's going to be fantastic. Just not a bold take, I'm sure, but I believe it's going to be really, really good. Any other thoughts on that? Safety, Cheetah?
Just don't be surprised if there's a lot of good rotations going on in that room. And yeah, especially the young guys with Omarion Robinson. Man, I've been hearing it. He's getting it, and Marcus Wimberly is balling as well. So don't be surprised, man, when you start seeing those, especially special teams, when they get out there. I expect them to be a problem for opposing teams. The defense is going to be solid. That's basically all we can keep saying.
Well, and I think the special teams part of that is a really good point, because that's where Michael Boganowski, Jayden Hardy, and Reggie Powers III really impressed the coaching staff as true freshmen. They were willing. They were 1, willing. 2, they took pride in going out and being excellent on special teams. And I think that sets the tone, and it shows a great example for your true freshmen, Omarion Robinson and Marcus Wimberly, to come in and be like, hey, the guys in front of me, they all went out and they busted their butt on special teams, and that curried favor with the coaches and got them opportunities to get on the field and really help their progression. So kids, if you're listening out there, be a willing participant on special teams. Go volunteer with your coach. Like, hey coach, which teams can I be on? I want to be on the teams. Because that's going to impress them. Don't be too proud to play special teams. That's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in, being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts for free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube. You can follow me at John9Williams. You can read my work covering the Sooners at SoonersWire.com. You can follow the show at Locked On Sooners wherever you get your podcasts and wherever you like to do your social media stuff as well. Hey, let us know which safety, which cheetah are you most excited to see? What's it going to take for Oklahoma to make the college football playoff? And John Mateer, what are your expectations for him in 2025? Does he have to contend for the Heisman? Does he just have to lead Oklahoma to 10, 11 wins for you to feel like that his NIL deal was worth it? Let us know in the YouTube comment sections. Look forward to reading those. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you then. Boomer Sooner.